Hey to everybody that loves me and even to the ones that don't but like to watch my content. Okay. This is a Rueters report. And I know you guys haven't heard from, let me just start with that. I know you guys haven't heard from me in a little bit, but I have been taking time to myself, just watching things as they develop and trying not to get into, too deeply into the politics of what's going on and trying to stay centered and grounded. You know what I mean? Because this is a lot deeper than this war. Um, just as sure as there is a physical war going on, there is a spiritual one. Okay, and I need you guys to be super duper mindful. Okay, first and foremost, before we get into this article, of what you are consuming online, what you are responding to online, how you are responding online. And specifically, I am talking to Black people. I'm not talking, and it actually, like I said, this is for those that love me and even for those that don't. This is what I started with. And I am specifically speaking to my people because I'm a Black woman and I see the play. I see the fucking play. First of all, that shooter with the Allah on his shirt, we're going to get into him too, or whatever the case may be, and I belong to Allah. He is not a Black man in the sense of FBA. You understand what I'm saying to you? Foundational, born here, not naturalized, not going. They got some citizenship or whatever the case because they've been there for so long. And this is, and you could take it how you want to take it. This is not, to any immigrants. This is not a slight. This is just the facts. 100% facts. That man is Senegalese. He's not a Black man. He is Senegalese. It's difference. There's a huge difference, a fundamental difference. Okay? Now, I ain't gonna just leave y'all out there, hanging out there like that. Y'all better make sure y'all not sitting there because, oh, you feel so much remorse for what these people going through and be putting this shit online. Don't you do it, and don't you fall for the trap. Like I said, this is far more than a physical war. This is a spiritual war as well. So what we not going to do is fall into any of the traps that they're trying to set for us. You understand me? It's a difference. That man is Senegalese. Okay? Okay. Now let's get into this article. This is a Reuters article, and and so far as we can throw them, it's a trusted news source. Okay. Um, it says Trump presses ahead with Iran war despite warnings of political risk for midterms. Now, what does this mean? Political risk for midterms means there. How can I get into this with you guys? How do I want to start? If, and not if, because he's going ahead with it. When you do that, right? And there's war, right? And it's around the midterm elections. What that is going to do, it's going to pause the elections. There are not going to be any elections. And this is why, okay, allegedly, child. Allegedly, in my strongest opinion, though, that he's going forward with this. He really and truly wants to be the last American president. Allegedly. This is for entertainment purposes only. Okay, I'm going to get into this article, which is dated today, March 2nd, 2026. Okay, they did it pretty early, 6:05 a.m. All right, it says U.S. President Donald Trump gestures as he boards Air Force One at Palm Beach International Airport in West Palm Beach, Florida, U.S. March 1st, 2026. This is a Reuters report by Elizabeth Frantz. Thanks for the report and the photo. Okay, so you see him here with his fists up like black power, child. What is that? White power? Excuse me, child. I don't know. Anyway, it says U.S. President Donald Trump pressed ahead with military strikes against Iran, despite private warnings from senior aides that the escalation could be difficult to contain and carry political risk for Republicans in November's midterm elections. According to two senior White House officials and a Republican close to the administration. Okay, so according to that person, this is what could be expected if he continues to press on with this war, okay, against Iran. The large scale attack has drawn near unanimous praise from foreign policy hawks in Washington, who have long dreamed of toppling the authoritarian regime in Tehran. What? So you mean to tell me now on this particular part? I'm not giving my opinion. These are the facts. I'm just reading an article, but that was very jarring to hear that. Uh, so they have long been wanting to topple the authoritarian regime in Tehran. Well, some would say there's an authoritarian regime here. Hey, look, let me just read the article. Allegedly, child, but some White House officials worry the foreign policy gamble may derail Republican chances of holding onto control of Congress at a time when war-weary voters are more concerned with the cost of living than conflicts abroad. Now, this is something we can get into because it is so true that there are so many people out here with food insecurities. It's very, very sad. The cost of living is up. The cost of groceries is up. The cost of damn near everything is up. And it's really, really difficult to stretch your I mean, it's damn near impossible in some cases. For some, there are people that are going hungry. And I think that that's very sad that the president of the United States, the sitting president of the United States, Donald J. Trump, wants to go to war when there are people and you know, kids are dying behind this, you know, in Iran. People are dying, and soldiers and stuff like that. It's going to be a lot of casualties. Meanwhile, here, there are other casualties because people are starving, you know. I just feel like this is so sad, you know. Okay, so the wary voters, you know, I would never tell you, you know, you cast your vote as you will, but you see what we got. You know what I'm saying? And anyway, now at present. Okay, so before the strikes, Trump repeatedly sought briefings on how the military action could allow him to project strength. Strength? Why am I saying it like that? Excuse me. Clear my throat. Project strength domestically. The senior White House official said top aides cautioned that U.S. intelligence did not provide a clear guarantee that escalation could be avoided. All right. Once the strikes began. All right, let me do that again. Top aides cautioned that U.S. intelligence did not provide a clear guarantee that escalation could be avoided once strikes began, and that the administration risked trying its political fortunes to an unpredictable aftermath. Oh, okay. So, well, the aftermath of a strike like that. Okay, you done struck Iran. You know, what happened to peace talks? What happened to actually like being diplomatic about things? You know, I do have opinions, very strong opinions about this, you know, but we're going to do our best to get through this article first because and save those, you know, for discussion or whatever commentary because this is crazy. You know, this is very, very dark times. Um anyway, so let's get into this article, then I'll, you know, come back with how I feel about things. Okay, so Trump ultimately sided, excuse me, Trump ultimately sided with those who believed decisive action would show him as a strong leader, even if it carried long-term risk, the officials say. Now, why would you do this? Why would you why would you go ahead with it? And listen, you gotta weigh um you gotta weigh and balance, okay? What's gonna be best for the American people, or what's gonna be best for your ego? Allegedly, child, I don't know. I just can't make sense of it. So what else could it be? Like, why would you do this? Um, what are you trying to gain? Like, okay, so when you go to war, it's for something. If these people didn't strike us, if these people didn't come for us, what is it? They've been talking about these threats of nuclear weapons, and they where are they? Where have they been found? The facilities have been destroyed. What's happening? These are the real questions that people have. I don't know. So let's continue to read on. It says, none of these officials expect immediate political fallout. Instead, they expect that what one described, okay, instead they expect that what? Child, huh? This is so tiny. Uh, None of those officials expect immediate political fallout. Instead, they expect what one described as a slow burn effect, driven by the duration of the conflict. So this could go on for a very long time, or I don't know how this gonna go. How could it go? Wars don't just fizzle out like that. You have to there's occupation, and those soldiers have to stay out there for a long time, allegedly, or for what I heard. I don't know. This um the fallout from war could be a lot of things. Anyway, it says, driven by the duration of the conflict, scope of retaliation, number of American casualties, and impact on gas prices. Uh, why does it always come back to oil? Oh, I can't. So let me just talk to y'all for a minute before we get back into this article. So allegedly, right, and from what I've heard, right, going around, uh, Cuba is really suffering because President Donald J. Trump uh killed. No, excuse me. Not killed. He captured. Excuse me. Uh, language, because I'm just. It still seems like it's death all around this child, but Donald J. Trump, captured Venezuelan, right? Um, President, right? He did that. This was a while ago. We all know about this. And trust me, that was a slip of the tongue. It's just like I said, so much stuff going on, and all you hearing about is death on the news. So yeah, that was a Freudian slip. But so Donald J. Trump, right, captured the president of Venezuela, and because he did that, I feel like they control it a bit now. Allegedly, I don't know. I know that they some oil has. There's another article I gotta find it. I saved it somewhere, but Cuba is suffering really bad, really really bad, because they need oil to remove garbage, like to fuel up and stuff like that, and whatever they were getting from Venezuela, as humanitarian efforts, they're not getting it anymore. So when I say, that was a Freudian slip, it's death all around us, and people are not looking into that. They don't. It's like they don't care about Q. It's bad. Them people over there going through it, and so there's that. And then also, when I say the oil, that's why I said it always come back to this, and they got the biggest supply over there in Iran, and a lot of people think that a lot of this is driven by territory that Israel wants it, and and they see them as an enemy. This is deep, and I have articles for this. This is not just coming from no opinion. They got some facts behind this. Allegedly, child. I'm still gonna say that, but the point is, this is madness. It feels like it, you know. So where was I at? Even if it carried long-term risk, the officials said, okay, none of these officials expect immediate fallout. I read all of that already. Impact on the gas price. Okay, I was up to there. Okay, a Rueters poll. Let's get into this poll. A Rueters poll on Sunday showed that only 1 in 4 Americans approved of the U.S. strikes that killed Iran's leader. That's what I was thinking when I said he killed. Okay, so and it's not funny. I just Iran's leader. About half of the respondents, including 1 in 4 Republicans, said they believe Trump is too willing to use military force. Oh wow. The poll closed before the U.S. military announced the first American casualties in the operation. Now, why would you close those polls so early? Now, why would you do that? Okay, what's the point of that? Because you don't want them polls. If you put those polls out and you see that American lives are being lost, them numbers will be even worse than that. Now, let's see if I can click on this poll. I don't know. Y'all want to click on it or what? I don't want to be nosy. Let's see that poll. And just 1 in 4 Americans support strikes on Iran. Rueters Ipsos poll finds. Where's the poll? Poll shows 43% disapprove. Oh, that's a lot of the U.S. strike on Iran. 56 believe Trump too willing to use military force. Oh, you have nobody with you, sir. Oh, nobody's with you. March 1st only. Okay, we did the poll. Okay, we done did the poll, y'all. Let's see, is there anything else to this article that I feel of note, because I have to move on to some other things that I want to get into with you guys. About the shooting, and again, like I said, that is not a black man. Okay, he is Senegalese. There's a difference. I don't give a damn. You heard me? You ain't about to do that. And you see how they was quick to plaster. If it was somebody, they be quick to plaster somebody that looked black. You know what I'm saying? He's Senegalese. Okay? A naturalized citizen. Okay? He had to get citizenship. Listen, don't even try that bullshit. Anyway, the president's decision to launch Operation Epic Fury, or is that the name of the opera? Epic Fury? Wow. Is one that presidents of both parties have contemplated for more than 50 years. See, and now this is my opinion and some commentary. I need to go sip my tea. He wants, I feel like, and this is allegedly, this is in my very strongest opinion, I feel like Donald Trump wants to seem like a powerful leader, but you are failing miserably, because if you do not listen to the guidance of the people hired around you to help walk you through these type of things and these steps, he wants to be known as a president that did something really good. Oh, nobody did that. Oh, let me go try that. You can't do that. Holding the highest office in the land, you can't just go do that because you hear what I'm saying? 50 years they only contemplated, but he want to just jump out the window and just do it. All right, well, let me finish reading this to y'all, because this is pissing me off real bad. All right, so it says, let me get this out of here. President Operation Fury. Okay, let's do it again. The president's decision to launch Operation Epic Fury is one that presidents of both parties have contemplated for more than 50 years, but none had the courage to execute. Oh, what I tell you about that ego? What I tell you? Listen. Anyway, courage to execute. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said in a statement, right now, the White House's main priority is working alongside the Pentagon and the interagencies to ensure the continued and ultimate success of the operation. And what would be the ultimate success of an operation like this? What are you guys trying to achieve? What are you trying to accomplish? How many got to lose their lives? What are you trying to do? I hear them saying all of this stuff. What is the goal here? Is what I don't know. I don't understand. Focus on economy again defied. They don't care about the economy. This is ridiculous. With public sentiment in mind ahead of the midterms, White House officials and Trump advisors had been urging the president to focus on the topics that are top of mind for Americans, like health. Yes. God. So they've been trying to talk sense into this man and he don't want to listen? You see what I said? He's not listening to them advisors. That's why everybody's saying he's doing this of his own volition. That's why they saying this. He's doing it. This is illegal. That's why. Because it is. Allegedly, I don't know. It is. And then they say, oh, this is so sad. My God. I'm going to read that again for you guys. And I want y'all to, before I read it, I want you to take a deep breath. Okay? You ready? And just release it. One more. It's going to be all right. You hear me? You listening to the sound of my voice? You alive, ain't you? It's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. All right? So, it says, with public sentiment in mind ahead of the midterms, White House officials and Donald Trump, and Trump advisors have been urging the president to focus on the topics that are top of mind for Americans, like healthcare and affordability, as he did in the State of the Union address 4 days before the attack. What do you mean as he did? You guys want to go to the State of the Union address? Or let me finish this article. Let me see something. Where was I at? Let's see. I went too far. Let's take a look at this. Okay. Trump hails golden age and State of the Union as voters soar. Sour. I said soar. I told you I need a sip of my tea. Sour on economy. Of course we sour on economy. Hold on. Sorry. Horizontal your phone. What's up with the volume?
Came at a fraught moment. Donald Trump broke not only his previous record for length in Tuesday's State of the Union, but delivered the longest such speech ever.
Our nation is back. Bigger, better, richer, and stronger than ever before.
No.
Trump boasted that he'd ushered in a golden age for America, but the speech came at a fraught moment for his presidency. His approval ratings are falling, anxiety is rising over Iran, and many Americans are frustrated that he has not done more to address the high cost of living. However,
right.
The first hour of his speech was focused on the economy, suggesting that Trump heeded the call from advisors, worried those approval ratings mean a tough midterm election this fall.
But in 12 months, my administration has driven core inflation down to the lowest level in more than 5 years.
The way Trump told it, inflation, mortgage rates, and gas prices are falling, while the stock market, oil production, and foreign direct investment are booming. However, new data released Friday showed the economy slowed more than expected last quarter, while inflation accelerated. And a Reuters Ipsos
We can't afford it. Okay? The fuck?
poll found only 36% of Americans approve of Trump's handling of the economy. The president remained disciplined at the start, but became combative when talking about his immigration crackdown. He chastised Democrats for refusing to fund the Department of Homeland Security unless federal agents' aggressive tactics are reined in.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Opinion polls show a majority of Americans believe Trump's immigration crackdown has gone too far after 2 U.S. citizens were shot dead by masked federal agents in Minneapolis. However, he held fire when it came to the Supreme Court, which recently struck down his global tariffs. In the hours after that decision, he insulted some of the justices in deeply personal terms.
Wow.
On Tuesday, he shook hands with them when he entered the House and had more measured words.
An unfortunate ruling from the United States Supreme Court. It just came down. It came down. Very unfortunate ruling.
Foreign policy got little play during the speech. Trump barely mentioned the Russia-Ukraine war despite Tuesday marking the 4th anniversary of Russia's invasion. He also offered little clarity on his plans for Iran despite recently assembling a massive military force in the Middle East.
Wow.
My preference is to solve this problem through diplomacy.
You have it.
But one thing is certain, I will never allow the world's #1 sponsor of terror, which they are by far, to have a nuclear weapon. Can't let that happen.
Child.
I'm Taco.
All
I'm
right.
Jarrito.
Look at this,
Donald
y'all.
Trump and Republicans that we, the people, want them to uphold the Constitution.
We were just lobbying Congress people to remember their oath to the Constitution. It seems lately a lot of senators and House members have forgotten that they sign an oath to the Constitution to live by that document, not live by what some wannabe dictator is setting the rules are. A lot of
Okay, enough of
movements like this.
Back to the article, back to the news, child. Anyway, so he don't want to focus on the economy as usual. What you want to focus on? War. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. War. Okay? Good God. Now, let's get back to this article. I got to move this out of my way. I can't hardly see. The weekend strikes underscored how quickly that strategy has failed. Okay, let's go back a little bit because now it sounded crazy. 4 days before the attack, blah, blah, blah. The weekend strikes underscored how quickly that strategy has failed, at least for now. The president said in Sunday interviews, the Iran operations are expected to be a 4 to 5 week process. And he continued to brace the country for more American deaths. How you bracing somebody for that? How? Oh my God. So okay. Oh my God. And he continued to brace the country for more American deaths after the U.S. military announced 3 service members had been killed. Oh my God. Rest in peace to those service members. You see, these people, oh my God. Oh my God. The juxtaposition between a successful State of the Union address that focused on affordability and the, I said, hey, oh, that word almost got me and took me out. Affordability and the economic issues that voters care about, and going to war in the Middle East days later is not just whiplash inducing, it's head spinning, said Rob Godfrey. Who the hell is he? A Republican strategist, excuse me. Making midterm voters comfortable with that juxtaposition will be one of the most important things that the White House needs to undertake in the next few weeks. And then it goes on to say one informal Trump advisor who has been to the White House in recent days argued that the main electoral danger lies not with the middle of the road or independent voters, but with members of Trump's MAGA movement. Oh, MAGA falling back. They don't want this either, those MAGA people. For whom interventionism was a key part of the president's pitch during the 2024 campaign. Listen, let me tell you something. When you're dealing with this, and acts of war, it affects everyone. There is no MAGA, there is no right, there's no left. It's just human beings with lives and stuff on the line and a whole bunch of other stuff. Come on, come on. Let's just tell it straight. Many of these voters could simply stay home during the midterms, during which voter turnout already tends to be low. Ooh, the advisor said. With 58% of Americans disapproving of Trump's performance in office, according to a February Rueters PSOS poll, Republicans will need heavy turnout among core supporters to fend off Democratic gains that could flip control of the U.S. House of Representatives and maybe even endanger the Republican stronghold in the Senate. Okay. I don't want to keep on with this article, though. Competitive House races more vulnerable. Okay, whatever. We know. We get the gist of it. Let's move on. Here's another article from Yahoo News. I don't want to get into this yet either because I was looking for something in particular for you guys. It says Iran is now on death ground amid existential threat from U.S. Attacks and could go big in retaliation. Former NATO commander warns. Look at this shit. Look at this shit, y'all. Oh, my God. Let me back out. Hold on. Damn, I lost the whole article. Okay.
Continue to follow breaking developments in the investigation into a mass shooting overnight on West 6th Street.
Tonight, we have the latest from investigators as they continue to uncover new information about the suspected shooter, including searching a home in Pflugerville linked to that individual.
And we're seeing and hearing new and disturbing video of what happened early this morning. Good afternoon to you. I'm Mark Mullins.
And I'm Quita Culpepper. Our Darrenisha Heron is live downtown on 6th Street. We also have Tony Pulhetsky and Jose Alonso joining us to bring us up to speed on the investigation.
We want to give you the latest on the victims tonight. Right now at this hour, 14 patients were located at the scene of that shooting and taken to nearby hospitals, and 2 victims were pronounced dead at the scene. 3 of those hospitalized remain in critical condition at this hour. At least 4 of the 14 patients have been released from local hospitals, according to St. David's Healthcare. The shooter was shot and killed by police.
All right, now let's bring in Tony, who has been digging into new information about the suspected shooter's identity. Tony, what can you tell us?
Well, authorities are trying to piece together everything they can about the gunman. What they have been able to confirm in the past few hours is that he apparently migrated to the United States in 2012
Did y'all hear what I
is
said?
a U.S.
Okay? I don't want to hear it. I don't fucking want to hear it. Don't try that shit. Okay? We don't move like that. Period.
Citizen. In addition to that, they are also trying to trace his
Let's hear that again.
Migrated to the United States in 2012 and is a U.S. citizen. In addition to that,
Naturalized.
they are also trying to trace his movements into downtown Austin.
Why are they trying to put this lies out like that? He's a naturalized citizen. He's not no U.S. Listen, you got to put the words to it so people can understand and they can differentiate between a person that was born here, okay, and got some citizenship, and now they are a U.S. citizen. Now, stop the bullshit, okay?
Overnight hours, pulling security video from all sorts of businesses, trying to determine how long he had been in the area and track his movements into the final moments before he began opening fire. Keep in mind that authorities say that he first opened fire from an SUV using a pistol, then parked that
Oh, come on.
AK-47 or an AR-15. But in terms of the investigation and where the FBI and Austin police are at this hour, they are still trying to determine whether or not he acted alone, whether he is what they would call
all them freaking lights or all that shit. Y'all ain't doing a damn shit. You ain't doing shit.
lone wolf possible terrorist, or whether or not he may be connected to a potentially larger group. And so as a result of that, they are issuing a number of search warrants at this hour, not only on that property that we know in Pflugerville, but also trying to look at his digital footprint as well, including any sort of potentially troublesome or troubling social media post.
Earlier this morning on Daybreak, Tony, when you were reporting what you had learned.
And this is why I tell y'all, you know what I'm saying? Y'all be careful on social media, what you posting, what you're consuming. what you're expressing online. I know that you guys are so used to going that online live in the comments saying whatever you feel. Social media is being monitored because you're sharing your opinions, your thoughts, or whatever online, and they can absolutely be used against you. Okay, that's first and foremost. Now this guy, get him out of here. He's gone already. They killed him. It is what it is. But what y'all not gonna do, y'all not gonna pose this with this propaganda that is he was somebody. He came here in 2012, and y'all allowed him to become a citizen, and y'all didn't do your due diligence. Okay, and this is why y'all sit up there with this ice all over the freaking place, because y'all not some. Listen, a lot of systems that are in place in this country need an overhaul, because first of all, you got a lot of people that work in these places. Let's just get into something real quick that are really lax in their duties. They get in there and they getting a paycheck for doing nothing. A lot of them, even places that say like you go to get some type of services. These people, that say like, for example, because I've heard, one of my family members go on about this, and how they being treated just because they need some assistance, right? And I've always thought that was wrong. You go to a job and you're supposed to be helping somebody, and they, you try to make them feel as low as you possibly can or whatever. And, they sit there and they don't want to do their jobs, or they stay on a phone call and have you standing there at a desk, even at the DMV, some DMVs. These people, these systems need an overhaul. Who is like over them to make sure that they're doing their job the way it's supposed to be done? Just like in Minneapolis, where they said that guy from what they say, from Nigeria or whatever the case, with that woman, you know what I'm saying, and she that white woman or whatever, and they were stealing all of these funds. Y'all let them do it. Y'all let them do it. Where's the oversight committees? So what's happening with immigration and those places where they supposed to vet people that come through here. Thailand don't play that. You better come with your papers, because they want to know who all coming in, where you from. You better have your paper. They even put an extra step, I've heard, in there before you can go over there, and that's how they know. You know what I'm saying? So if something is going on here, like say like their country is safe, it's nice, it's beautiful, it's this and that, people come there, nobody bothers you. You know what I'm saying? You can go and enjoy your your vacation or your time there, or whatever the case may be, and there's not much incident. They measure, like, if crime rises where people come from a certain place, they gonna keep you out. They're gonna do what they gotta do. They're not having that. So basically, it just needs an overhaul. I feel like some investigations, I don't know, follow the money. What's going on with immigration? Because there's no way that you needed to put ice on the streets and people lose their lives and getting snatched up just because you think this is this and that or whatever, and held for months or whatever, and then later you find out that they did go through the right steps and they do have their papers and stuff. It's just so much. It's just so